Hey guys, so apparently it's like a common thing now for people to read their essays and like Common App application things that were successful for them and post them on the internet. So today I'm going to read to you my like activities and essays that I use because a lot of people have asked about them, and like I send a lot of people my essays for purposes of like not having it just out there so that it can be like plagiarized and stuff like that. I send individuals my essays, but I guess it's like easier if I just end up putting it on here so that I can stop like sending people individually the essays and then everybody can access it. So I couldn't actually find the activity section of my Common application, so I'll just read you like my high school resume that has like some of my activities, and just keep in mind that colleges like didn't know about everything that was on here, but I'm gonna hit like the major points, and then I'll read for you my Common App essay, and I'm probably going to read like 2 of the short answer essays that I had for Stanford, and then one of them I also like recycled for Duke, and then they picked me for the Trinity scholarship based on just the application that like contained that essay in my activity section and my Common App essay. And then Stanford, I got into Stanford early admission, and then University of North Carolina, I have the Marquette Kane scholarship, but that was a separate application. And yeah, so that's just to like summarize for you my information if you don't regularly watch my channel and you don't know like what credentials does this girl have. So with that, we'll get into my resume. So in high school, I think I listed like the first thing was I was president of HOSA, which is Health Occupation Students of America, and I was like first in North Carolina in my event pharmacology, and I was like second before that, and I was third the year before that. So I had been to nationals twice, I think, by the time that I applied to college, and I never placed at nationals, but I was president of HOSA, so I put that. Then I was also president of Interact, which is kind of like a key club. A lot of people either at their school have Interact Club or Key Club, so I had Interact Club, and that's what I did. I was president of it, and I helped run like a talent show, and one of the guest judges that I got was a politician, so I put that as another activity. I also put that I had 500 hours of community service because I did have that during high school, and that was just like at the library, at schools, in the hospital, like random places. Then I remember I put as a separate thing that I volunteered in hospitals, so I volunteered in 2 different hospitals, but like on different occasions around me, and that I thought was like a separate volunteering activity because it was really notable to me. In the activity section, I also put that I went to NC Governor School West, and that I was picked to be like ask a question at the end, like speak in the final ceremony, which meant that I was like considered one of the top 3 students of my my like subject area, which was mathematics for me. And then I also put that I was a caption team member at Rev, which is like an online captioning service, and then I put that I was an EMT. So in second semester, senior year, I took EMT classes, and like while I submitted my applications, I was still taking those, but I just put that I was extra taking these EMT classes at a community college because I was interested in doing emergency medicine. Lastly, I also just put that I was like a service and learning ambassador for my school, which meant that I did some work with service learning, like training students and using this online software. And then I think also I elaborated like changes that I made in my club, the clubs that I was president of, but like as you can tell by my activities, nothing like hugely outstanding. I don't think there's anything super unique about those activities, but that was pretty much what every college saw about me. What is this choker doing? Those are pretty much the things that every college saw about me that I submitted to them as the activity section. Okay, and now I'm going to read you my Common App essay, and I don't actually like have the best read aloud skills, so yeah, I don't know. We'll see how this goes. Pardon me like looking down, but I'm looking at my laptop. Okay, so for most people, asking for a juice box is not a defining moment in their lives. For me, that slender, juicy juice box with the cheerfully familiar image of Arthur tattooed on the side was the object that lured me into the world of speaking English, that guided me into forging the independent, knows what she wants persona that would shape the person that I have become and still am becoming. I was 3 years old when my parents prudently uprooted my family from small town farm life in rural South Africa and replanted us in suburban America. Up until this moment, the world as I knew it had been a few acres wide, with only 4 human residents, my nuclear family. In this world, there existed only one language, Afrikaans, and only one me. Breaking out of this bubble and hurtling into a world of thousands of strangers and dozens of languages, 3-year-old me had to not only learn a new language, but construct a new identity bold enough to handle survival in a foreign society by herself. The day after our arrival, I found myself in a hotel daycare center, isolated socially and linguistically, hopelessly shy and lost. I fervently shook my head when the teacher approached and seemed to offer me a box of juicy juice, despite the thirst that burned in my throat. I was momentarily relieved to have avoided a situation that aggravated my timidity. But as I sat in solitary contemplation, images flashed through my mind of the Arthur logo on the side of the box and the Juicy Juice commercial that followed the episode of Arthur that I had seen the night before. In a moment of impulse, I gave in to my thirst and my curiosity about Arthur. As I advanced stealthily to the teacher's desk, surprised to see me, she, as I desperately hoped she would do, proceeded through a series of questions about my well-being and then landed on, "Would you like some juice?" My mind raced in this moment that I suddenly felt inadequately prepared for, but I reached down into the depths of my memory and confidence and uttered a feeble, "Yes." I was immediately rewarded by what I considered surely the greatest gift of my life up until that point, and I regressed into a corner where I proudly sipped my juicy juice from its Arthur-adorned box. In one golden moment, I had spoken my first word of English, and I had obtained something by myself for the first time ever. In this way, the English language is my platform for independence. It is the language that I've used ever since I was 3 years old to venture into the world of the unfamiliar. English is the language through which I build relationships, through which I learn, and through which I accomplish what I accomplish in the world. When I leave the house in the morning, I become my English-speaking persona. I have to be confident and assertive, and fend for myself, and I'm rewarded with metaphorical juice boxes in the form of accomplishments, leadership opportunities, and philosophical challenges. Afrikaans coexists with English to define the familiarity and comfort of my home and my family, and to allow me to regress to my corner and melt away into a group on many precious occasions. When I walk through my doorway in the evening, I sink back into my Afrikaans-speaking persona that allows me to truly feel at home. Despite the fact that I am more proficient in English than Afrikaans, Afrikaans flows with the ease of a sigh of relief, a sensation not easily matched by English. Today, while I study foreign language and linguistics, I learn not only about language, but about myself. Asking for that juice box was my first step towards bilingualism, and for me, bilingualism is more than just communication. It is a part of my identity. Well, there you go, there's my Common App essay, aka the essay that I sent to pretty much every school that I applied to. So now I'm just going to read my Stanford short answer essay that I responded for intellectual vitality, because I think it was really random. Like, I just wrote about the first thing that popped into my head, and I just want you guys to see kind of like how you can write about something random and it's still okay. Like, I think it can actually be compelling. So the prompt specifically was Stanford students possess intellectual vitality. Reflect on an idea or experience that has been important to your intellectual development. So I responded, "This incredible story will have you ugly crying." Promised a link that popped up as I was scrolling through Facebook. I rarely use Facebook, and even less rarely fall for clickbait. But since I conquered the infamous no cry challenge, I take unnecessary pride in my ability to stop myself from crying while watching sad videos. So I clicked the link. I come from a politically and religiously conservative family. For a long time, my ability to think critically was crippled by the fact that I fought to justify conservative ideas in ways that I knew were irrational. I valued the philosophical stability I thought conservatism could give me. In my family, a prominent point of debate was LGBT rights, and I struggled on a personal level with this issue, because I was supposed to be religiously opposed to LGBT rights, but I could not logically justify such an opposition. Nevertheless, I stuck to the opinion endorsed by my parents. My no-cry record remained untarnished, but the video turned out to have a much more profound emotional impact on me. It told the story of Ryland Whittington, a female-to-male transgender child. The video struck me because it was at that moment that I knew that if I had a child in the same situation, I would absolutely want him to be accepted as male. Ryland's story prompted me to change my mind in a radical way and pushed me to trust my own rationality rather than rely on others' ideas. So as you can tell, that's just like a random story about a YouTube video that I saw that changed my mind. And I thought changing your mind is like a powerful thing. So, yeah. And then the last essay that I'm going to read is my What Matters to You and Why essay. And so this essay, I also submitted it for the Duke one that's about diversity. I don't think it's super like fit that prompt, but I was like, I don't know, it's a diversity of opinion. So, yeah, but this essay I thought was like probably my most vulnerable essay. And just so you know, the Stanford word limits were like 250 words, so that's why the previous essay and then this one is going to be a little bit shorter. But yeah, so this is my essay to answer the question, what matters to you and why? Emotional honesty matters to me more than anything else. On a personal level, I find that it's critically important to be honest with myself in order to know who I am. I, like every other human, face a significant amount of social pressure to think and feel certain ways, and I frequently find myself repressing inconvenient emotions to protect myself from their social repercussions. I find myself policing my own thought the way society polices me, and at the end of the day, that leaves me with nowhere to go where I can truly be myself. But I am not afraid of myself. I want to get to know this person that I am, because I trust I have a lot to learn from her and that she is something to give the world. And I believe the same of my fellow humans. I want to understand them, I want to learn from them, and I want them to tell me their truths. Since as early as I can remember, I was taught to hold back my tears, to hide my romantic feelings, and to pretend that I understood even when I did not. But my sadness makes me stronger. My affection makes other people feel good about themselves, and my questions teach me incredible things. So, when I find the strength, I swallow my fear, and I tell the world how I feel, casting my humble vote towards making our society more accepting of the truth. So, those are probably like the main essays that I used in my application process, and I just wanted to share them with you so that you have access to them. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a really like solid time writing your application essays. Remember, it's important to have fun, it's important to be vulnerable, and like do both of those things, learn things about yourselves. Yeah, okay, have a good day.